Hey guys, how you doing? Okay, so for this video, I kind of want to talk about uh, the hardest part of my transition for me, and uh, I guess the hardest part of my transition for me personally has been not being able to tell my grandmother that I'm trans, and the reason why I had not been able to tell her because she had passed away a few weeks or so before my 15th birthday. And at the time, when I was 14, before she had passed, I didn't know how to express how I felt about myself. I didn't know that transgender was even an option. And if it was, I would have done something about it beforehand. I would definitely have started my transition if I had known at that time. But I didn't know it was such a thing. The only thing I really knew was, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and, cross-dressing. I knew of guys liking to dress as women. That's all. Other than that, I really didn't know that, hey, I could do this. But, I guess, yeah, just not being able to tell her how I felt about myself. I knew I felt different, but I didn't know how to put it into words. And I guess the earliest thing I can remember her noticing something different, I guess, would be my choice of toys and my choice of clothes. And the first thing I can really remember is I was probably 5 years old, and my mom, my brother, my grandmother and we all went down to the local store in the town that my grandmother lives in, and we had gone. It's probably like I think it was like AIM. Oh no, not Ames. I can't remember what it was, but it was just like a regular shopping store with clothes and stuff like that. And I went to the toy aisle, as any kid, and I saw these handcuffs, and they were legit metal handcuffs. They weren't like the ones that the cops have. But but they were like metal handcuffs, and I really wanted them. And, I went to my mom and I asked her if I can get them. And she kept saying no, 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 put them back. And like the final time I'd asked my mom, she said no and put them back. So I went to go put them back, and as I was heading to put them back, my grandmother had taken the handcuffs from my hands and put them in the cart, and she had bought them for me. And I, th- I think of all the things that my grandmother has gotten me over the years, that's probably the most boyish thing she's ever gotten me. Um, because they're handcuffs, and at I guess back in the 90s or so, something like that would be considered to be a boy's toy. Um, because they're handcuffs, and like she's gotten me different things, over the years, but a lot of them were more like art supplies or paint sets or something like that. You know, because I was an art kid, and so I was always drawing, painting, making something. So she'd always got me stuff like that. But that was the one. But the handcuffs is probably the one thing I can really remember the most that she has bought me. Um, just because I really wanted them, in the mind of a 5-year-old boy, you get this toy that you really want, and it's just like something that's out of this world. And even then, my choice of toys and clothes and stuff like that was still very, I guess you could say, noticeable. Because I really didn't care to wear certain colors or certain toys, certain, didn't want to wear certain colors, didn't want to play with certain toys. And some toys that I've gotten, I either ended up giving away or not even using at all, or they would end up in pieces. um, yeah, I guess it wasn't till I think it wasn't until my grandmother passing where I had wished I had told her how I felt. I didn't know I don't know how. Even then, as I think about it now, I probably wouldn't even know how to explain it. Because I think either before or after she had passed, I was talking to my mom, and I remember telling my mom how something needed to change about me. I don't know what it is, but something needed to change. I need something to be different. I don't feel normal. I don't feel like my other kids. I don't feel like something is right about me. And I didn't know how to explain it, really. And I wanted, so I don't know how, I don't know why I didn't say it, but somewhere deep inside me, it's that I wanted to tell you so badly that I felt like a boy, but I didn't know how to say I felt like a boy. Like, I don't know how I could explain something like that to my mom without feeling ashamed, because being 14 years old, being raised as female, that's you think, you know something about is wrong with you, or something isn't right, or, you know. So sometimes, depending on the kid, some kids keep it to themselves, some kids express it. I didn't know how to express it, so I kept it to myself. And it wasn't until my senior year in high school where I figured out what was, I guess you could say, wrong over all these years. I finally realized, that I, this isn't just a phase as I thought it might have been. It was, some people kept telling me over the years, "Oh, you're gonna get out of this phase where you like all this boy stuff, and you're gonna start being girly and all this kind of other stuff," like a friend of mine was. And I was like, I kept telling people I don't know, because I don't know, because I didn't think it would change. I didn't think anything about me would change. And nothing did change except for, my transition. But other than that, personality-wise, like knowing how I felt about myself, that didn't change. And so I just, when I finally came to realize how I felt different about myself, what I had done was I had gone on to yahooanswers.com and typed up a question saying, "This is how I feel." I felt like this ever since I was a little kid, probably about 3, 4 years old. And I don't know how to tell people. Does anybody know? Did anybody know what might be up, or if I'm just, you know, going crazy or something like that? And quite a few people had responded to my question saying, "Oh, you're probably FTM transgendered, or transgendered FTM, or a couple of people said check out YouTube and put in FTM transgender in the search bar or something like that. And so I did. And as you know, a lot of guys know, you go up on YouTube and type it in, you get a whole shit ton of videos. And so that's what I got. And I was like, it finally makes sense. And and when I finally realized at that time, like, finally makes sense, I can finally realize, I realized, like, hey, I'm not the only one who feels this way. I'm not the only one who realizes that they're different than other, kids. And I think I was really stoked about it. But, part of me also felt kind of sad at the same time. It's like, now that I finally know what it is, I still can't tell my grandmother. That's the one thing, is I still wasn't able to tell my grandmother that this is how I felt. And that feeling, like, I guess you could say, guilt, not being able to tell her, had stayed all these years, and I still have that guilt, that uneasy feeling of not being able to tell her, and I do want to tell her, and I plan to. I do plan to go to her burial plot and, read a letter that I wrote about, I'd say probably about a year ago or so, and I want to go up there and I want to read it to her, just so I know that, and I know I could tell her anytime. I could, I could pray and stuff like that, but I think actually being there in person and reading it to her is a little different. It's gonna mean a little bit more, and I guess it's something that I just want to do, and I think after I do, I'm gonna feel a whole lot better, because that has been a bit of a struggle for throughout my whole transition. That's been the one thing that has bothered me the most. And so, for some guys, a bit of a word of advice: getting on T doesn't make everything better, because there are other things that you will realize within yourself that you do have to work on. That, getting on T does help how you feel about yourself, but there are going to be other things that you need to work on. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so I guess I've talked long enough. I'll make another video after this. Tell you guys. Peace.